and crew. And we're at episode 2 already of this culture shock with Big Culture Bob. We can't wait to jump into it. What a sloppy mess today, Bob. A lot of injuries, a lot of crazy things going on. I know you've been going crazy in the Dynasty DNA chat. Some teams that you very much despise playing each other this week. And, some things you've seen, some things you really want to get off your chest. So, as always, we know what we're here to do. We're here to hear the sermon of Big Culture Bob, give us the 5 things that he is very, very upset with. Our little fantasy football sermon for post week 4 fallout, Bob. I will turn the floor over to you. What is the first thing in week 4 that really grinded your gears?
The Bears still suck. Whether they won this game or not, they had 3 turnover opportunities that I've seen, at least from Geno Smith, who also is terrible, to have more opportunities to score. Like Caleb Williams throwing the ball up, getting it batted down and catch. I mean, that was just the one interception he threw was an interception from Max Crosby. And I'm like, dude, did you not see him coming? And he's still taking a ton of sacks. He's still getting pressure from everybody else. And it's like the Bears fans will start circling the wagons. Caleb, and that's like, they had 3 more opportunities to get the ball. Are you serious? Like, and you barely beat the Oakland Raiders. And I know Slim's going to victory lap on Ashton Jeanty with his 3 touchdowns, but like they played the Bears. Like everybody looks good against the Bears. We're seeing that it's like start your guys against the Bears. I'm really kind of disappointed that Jacoby Myers didn't have a better game, but it is what it is. It's still the Bears. The Bears. I mean, I was kind of surprised. I'm like, oh, here comes a field goal. They're going to win the game. And it's like, they block. And I'm like, well, it's the Raiders. Like they're still awful too. Like I could rant on about both these teams. But I feel like I ranted heavily on the Raiders last week. They're just both trash teams. The NFL schedule makers are really doing us a disservice by putting all this garbage on the TV. Hopefully this is the end of it, or we're getting close. Hopefully, but I know that Jacksonville's going to play Texans again. And, of course, the Raiders are going to play more games and the Bears are going to play more games. So we're going to have plenty of garbage matchups. But the Bears are terrible. They're going to get a lot of garbage time fantasy points for us. So thank goodness, because their prime time points are the first drive. They look amazing. Then it's this whole middle part of the game where it's like, what is this? And then the end of it, it's like, yay, Caleb Williams runs the ball a few times. Nah, they're terrible.
Let me just say this. I had visions when I was sitting in my living room thinking, I wonder what Bob's thinking right now watching this, the Raiders and the Bears. I said, you could just tie him down and stab his eyes with forks and he'd probably be more pleasant than he is right now. So like this was the game that you would have hated the most on the schedule pretty much throughout the whole season. This is one of them. It's got to be up there. So, I'm surprised you made it through.
So yeah, thank goodness I can really only consume the red zone until after all the condensed games come out. Then I rewatch the games, but I'm not sure. I'll definitely be putting it on 2 times speed if I try and rewatch that game. Condensed game and 2 times speed. So it takes out all the crap and double speed. And like, oh, hey, there's another Geno Smith interception. Why ain't the Bears scoring? Oh, it's because they suck.
So Bob's laying down the law. He's still not buying into the Chicago Bears, and he still vehemently despises the Las Vegas Raiders. So we'll go over now to the second thing on your list, Big Culture. What do you have for us? Enlighten us.
So I just think that we really need to take a moment as fantasy football players and not overhype 1 week performances, or the opposite, right? Not just, I guess it's still overhyping it, but overhyping it negatively or positively. Like I'm trying to, I sit there and I wrote it down and I was like, man, and I really was just focused on the Bears. Like everybody and their mom thought the Bears, they're like, they lit up the scoreboard last week. Yeah, they barely got us 25 points this week, and they had plenty of opportunities. When you start to see a consistent pattern, that's when you want to start betting on it. It's like everybody and their mom was back on A.J. Brown after last week. It's, oh, look, A.J. Brown's back. We were supposed to draft him in the 2nd round. And then this week, like, seriously, I mean, wait till next week. Slim, when we're on Thursday, Slim is going to be preaching Ashton Genty. Oh, look at all those. And I mean, it was in the chat. You know what I mean? Like, you guys aren't prep. Well, most of you are listening to this are in the chat. So, like, oh, how many touchdowns did he score, Bob? I'm like, oh, you're going to be real excited when he has 8 all year, because the rest of he's not going to play the Bears more than one time. And that's it. And it's like the rest of your division is really tough against the run. And it's just, I'll be shocked if he surpasses 8 touchdowns for the year. And it's like, again, I preface this by, it's not that I don't think the kid's got talent. You can't have a 64-yard run without talent, except unless you're playing the Bears. You can have no talent and get a 64-yard run against the Bears. But so and Ashton Genty showed that even with all his talent, he could get a 64-yard run against the Bears. So I think that we gotta, like, and it, I mean, I am susceptible to it too. We finally, we want that, what we thought was going to happen, right? Like Brian Thomas Jr., for instance, we thought it was going to happen. We thought it was going to happen, man. It's like, and then like he doesn't do it for a couple of weeks, and it's like, what's going on? Right. And I didn't see the final score or like final yardage for Brian Thomas Jr., but from what I could tell, it looked like he had a better game. So it's like, but let's not overhype ourselves, you know, or Hunter had a couple of catches or whatever in this game. Let's not get, it's like, don't let everything turn around or whatever. Remember that he's still playing both sides and it's still Jacksonville. Jacksonville's just beat a team that really is losing all their weapons, and they just got Brock Purdy back. Let's not overhype ourselves on Jacksonville either. They're still a dog water team, and it's, you know. And again, let's look at Carolina. Carolina wins a game last week and then turns around and falls flat on their face, like against the Texans. Whoa, the schedule's awful.
I got to give you credit, Bob, because you are right. Like, as a fantasy community, you see a lot of that. And, you know, you can't put the cart in front of the horse, right? You got to take your time, make sure everything's the way it needs to be. And like you said, we need to see these trends and patterns. So I like that call out, because you got to be patient and make sure, you know, seeing is believing. But in fantasy football, to me, seeing is believing is more than once, right? Like, I need to see it more than once to really be a believer. So I like the call out there. What's the third thing on the list, Bob?
Now, Wiz, I'm not trying to personally hurt your feelings, I promise you, but Lamar Jackson's a freaking baby. Like, are you serious? If you don't play, don't play. Don't be like in the middle of the game when you're getting your feelings hurt by the other team because they're smoking you. And the NFL has it in for the Kansas City Chiefs. I know they want Taylor's team to win and stuff like that, and they're like, whoa, we got to make this happen. Something's got to change. So yes, Taylor's team's got to get a victory, and it just so happened to be at the expense of the Ravens. But like, he hurt his hamstring, and he's sitting on. It's not like he's on the bench like getting worked over or anything. It's like they just pull him out of the game. It's like, dude, you're supposed to be an MVP. You're supposed to be a stud. You're supposed to be a guy that leads a franchise to the Super Bowl. And it's like, I'm just done. I'm chalked out. Like, man, I'm hurt. My feelings hurt. George Karlaftis is too good at this game. You know, Chris Jones is in my face like, come on, man. Like, seriously. You know, and Justin Hill looks like a trooper. Like, that dude is like, you know what? I'm going to at least go out and run for 74 yards in one play and get a touchdown. Like, what happened? I didn't see Derrick Henry at all. In what footage I've seen, I did not see Derrick Henry at all. I didn't see all the footage, but I didn't see Derrick Henry at all. And like, then Lamar Jackson goes out of the game. Excuse me. Like, what are we?
You get so wound up.
So like, man, I don't understand it. Like, you're the face of the franchise. You know, my leg would have to be broke.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I don't mind that call out whatsoever, Bob. And you know, like you said about Derrick Henry, I think the big thing was the Ravens couldn't bully the Chiefs into playing the game that they usually like to play, right? They got down and then they had to chase. And when you do that to Baltimore, that is something that they have trouble with. So I like that call out as well. And you know what? I mean, like you said, Justice Hill being a trooper, we need to see more of that from the Ravens. And, you know, I told Wiz it's a John Harbaugh problem. He won't listen to me. Maybe he'll start coming around. We are friends. I think I can finally start slowly getting that to him. I think he's starting to come over to my side on that just a little bit. But
You and
Bob,
John Harbaugh are friends, or you and Wiz are friends?
no, me and Wiz are friends. Me and Wiz,
Oh, okay.
yeah, me and Wiz are friends. I don't associate that team other than Derrick Henry. But
Yeah, I would think not.
let me just say this. Number 4 on the list, Bob. Preach to us now.
We can't blame Daniel Jones for this game. Whether he threw the 2 interceptions or not, Cam Curl was in the right spot, and it is what it is. Maybe he's not the deep ball throwing guy. And I can't say that. But Adonai Mitchell, like this is I literally was like I posted it in there twice. That dude cost him the game. Daniel Jones is trying to make up for Adonai Mitchell's ignorance. Like, what are you doing? How do you fumble at the 1 yard line? I have no idea. Like how that's even like secure the ball, celebrate later. Why aren't I know he's young and he came into the league young, but like you have had to have been taught this since you were little baby. Like the baby football player, Pop Warner, like get the ball over the line, then you could celebrate all you want. Somebody told that dude that he was better than he thinks he is, and and I mean I can't believe that Daniel Jones threw the ball to him later in the game. Like I'm like, oh my gosh, and he got out of bounds. I'm like, I'm surprised he didn't just like flip it to the other team and be like, hey, here you go, But then he ends up having a holding penalty, which was even like those things are kind of odd. But I'm like, that was so like that's 2 just calls that ruined the Colts' opportunity for this game. And I'm like, I mean, I would think if the Rams were like juggernaut-ish team, they would have taken better advantage of the turnovers the Colts had too. But like, it was a close game. I think that the Colts Adonai Mitchell let it slip out of his hands, figuratively and literally. Like it, and Daniel Jones, we've seen it his whole career. He's not one of these guys that's like necessarily come back and win for you guy. But I also think that one of the earlier games in the year, I thought that it seemed like at the very end of the game, they were just like holding him back. Like, oh, we can't let Daniel Jones make the mistakes. We're just going to keep running the ball. And they got lucky. I think it was the one where they got to re-kick the field goal. I was like, where's the play call at? Like this dude's like, at least let him take some 5-yard out patterns and stop the clock. But instead it was like, run the ball. And I mean, don't get me wrong, Jonathan Taylor's a beast. But, which reminds me, I said Jonathan Taylor would outscore Ashton Jeanty for the year. And so far it looks like Bob's right. But,
Bob's right about everything. He's got slim.
He's not right about everything. But
that's what you need to change the big culture thing to. It needs to be Bob was right about everything because all the people that are Bob supporters will follow you in lockstep. Now, let me just say this. I will say this. You're right. Let's not blame Daniel Jones because, look, we know what Daniel Jones really is. I mean, he's just a hyper-efficient game manager when everything's going very well, plays very well in structure. And you're right. The Indianapolis Colts were in that game. They had their chances. Michael Pittman, he's back. Yeah. He's back, baby, because of Daniel Jones. And let me just say this. If you are a Colts fan, you have to be encouraged. Because we said this, maybe if you don't win the game, fine, but you were in the game. That's the main thing. You're in the game with a good football team. You're not a joke of an organization, really, this year. We'll see where it goes from here, but this year they could be competitive. They proved that. Now, Bob, the last thing on the list for week 4.
All right. So I got the opportunity to listen, and I'm going to butcher the name. Was it Face of the Franchise 2.0 or something like that? I got you were on Mike Shanoudi's podcast. Yeah. Yep. Okay. And you guys dabbled at it in a little bit at the end. And I think I might just be rebutting a little bit of what you all said. And maybe I'm not, because it seemed to me like I may have lost what you really were talking about. But I know Mike was talking about, like, what do you guys think about the overseas games? Well, I don't mind the fact that the schedule's spread out. I don't mind the fact that we send teams over there to play, as long as it's not like, I think that Pittsburgh losing a home game is pretty trash because it's a bigger fan following than, say, Jacksonville. If you've got one of these teams here that's struggling to fill the stadium and you want to send them overseas and make it their home game, the scheduler's got to do a better job with that instead of giving us Bears, Raiders, and all that crap. Whatever. So we like, if it's a team that's struggling to fill a stadium, like, I don't mind so much. That's my cusp on like, I know it sucks for like people who like, I guess it would probably be the West Coast because they'd have to get up butt crack of the dawn early to even catch the game, right? So, and I'm not good with
Right.
time zones, so you can feel free to correct me if I'm wrong. That's what I'm saying there. So, but like, so I don't mind the early game because, in all honesty, I go to church on Sunday. If I want to get up early and catch, half hour, 45 minutes of it before I bolt for church and then come back, then that's awesome. And it's like I get to kind of keep track in the parking lot when I'm walking back and forth, so on and so forth. I don't mind that. But what I do have a huge problem with is when we start talking about expanding the NFL. And I mean, I don't care if it's I live right next to Evansville, Indiana. It's my birth home. If they were to put one in Evansville, Indiana, or Kentucky, Kentucky's got a team, Henderson, whatever. No, don't do it. Number one, we don't have 32 good quarterbacks in the NFL. We don't want to have more than 5. There's like 5 or 6 fantasy quarterbacks that we're like, yeah, that's the guy, that's my team, blah, blah, blah. And then like everybody else is like meh in the middle or trash at the end. And it's like, no, we cannot 32 quarterbacks. We don't have enough of them. Then to double down on that, and you guys know I'm a little bit of an offensive line guy, we don't have 64 tackles in the league to fill any more spots. Chicago themselves, Caleb Williams getting pressured 6 ways a Sunday because they don't have a decent left tackle. They started that. I seen the rookie guy started this game, and I'm like, oh. And then like Max Crosby's eating his lunch. If it wasn't for Caleb stepping up in the pocket a couple of times, he probably would have had a broken leg. So give Caleb some credit there. But like seriously, like we don't have enough. And it's like the product will just get so watered down that it won't be worth watching. We've already got, the whole reason this show is created is so I can badmouth the bad teams. Do you want 4 more bad teams or 6 more?
Yeah.
Well,
yeah, we do. We want it. We want here, Bob. We want more.
Bob gets had talk and gripe more. Like, get off my lawn. But like, seriously, like I would prefer there be a better product so I have less to gripe about. Like, it'd be nice to rant about positive things, but there's not very many. Like, I don't think that I hammered special teams enough last week. Are we serious? Like, how many block field, like, Teixeira sent me something from John Gruden, and John Gruden, I guess, was on Barstool Sports. I don't know if he shared it with everybody else, but it was John Gruden ranting about the lack of practice, the lack of preparation. These big babies in the NFL, they're getting soft. They don't have enough practice time. And heaven forbid you don't, you go over. If you go over the practice time, then you're liable to get let go or fined or whatever by the NFL. Like,
right.
It's like, I understand there's got to be a fine balance, but like, you're getting paid millions of dollars to show up to work every day. I don't get paid millions of dollars to show up to work every day, and I have to go. If I don't, then my family doesn't eat. You guys have got enough freaking money in the bank from the last 2 contracts you signed or your NIL money from college that you should never have to work again. I heard that.
I've heard that whistle. He was going deep there, but let me just say this, Bob. Another great episode of the Culture Shock. I always enjoy, as everyone does on the network, what you have to say after week 4. So we appreciate it. Every week you bring us your insight, your knowledge, and we really enjoy it. And the rants. The rants are legendary. Let's be honest. Like, we have the best ranter ever here at Dynasty DNA and Big Culture, Bob. And don't worry, Slim. He'll be ready for you Thursday. Bob will be ready. He's ready to rock. So if you guys are enjoying the content, make sure to tune in to all the podcasts on the Dynasty DNA Podcasting Network. If you want to listen to more Bob, Dynasty DNA Deep Dive every week, Triple Threat Podcast. We have From Whistle to Whistle, Stardom, Sit 'em Saturday, bringing you 4 to 5 shows a week at the Dynasty DNA Podcasting Network, available on Spotify, Apple Pod, Stitcher, Amazon, all the big podcasting platforms. If you're listening, subscribe to us on YouTube if you're watching. And follow us on Twitter at DynastyDNA_. Now, Bob, I hope that you have a peaceful rest of your evening there. Please enjoy the Sunday night game. I think if the Packers demolish the Cowboys, it'll put you in a little better mood.
If they
Am I
don't
right?
demolish the Cowboys, they need to start all over because the Cowboys are maybe the 4th worst team in the NFL right now.
We're going to have to get a ranking soon from Bob. But guys, we hope you enjoy the rest of your weekend, what's left of it. Tune in with us for all the other shows, and we hope that you have a good luck in all your fantasy football games remaining here in week 4. And we will see you all next week